Om. Arthaya pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Geetā Bhavadveshini. In 5 verses, namely 5th through 9th, Bhagavan Sri Krishna gave to us the grand picture of avatar, God's incarnation upon the earth. In the 5th shloka, he declared that I have come before, I have now come, and I will be coming in future too. And what is more, O Arjuna, even you have had many lives before. Then, even as Arjuna is excited about this revelation, in the 6th shloka, the second of the set of 5, Sri Krishna clarified that this whole matter of his becoming Rama or Krishna is one notch below the highest truth. At the level of the highest truth, God remains unaffected, no change at all. But Mayaya, Atma Mayaya, Maya is a certain power, certain skill, certain very special capacity with God, and within that frame of reference of Maya, the God principle comes down as particular incarnations. Therefore, Ajopi San, though I really have no birth, I come through my special power of Maya. In 7 and 8, while number 6 gave the nature of incarnation, 7 and 8 gave the purpose of God's avatara. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanihi, and so on. When there is exceptional decline of dharma and too much of rise of adharma, that is when the Lord or God principle comes down upon the earth as particular incarnations. And what the avatara does essentially is sadhunam paritrana. It is the protection of the pious, and dushkratam vinashana, destruction of wicked people. And then lastly, in the 5th of the set of 5, Sri Krishna praises this understanding of avatara. He says, whoever understands the nature of my incarnation, Janma, and what I do having come upon the earth as an incarnation, that is karma, whoever understands it, that person, she or he, attains me. He has no rebirth on the earth. Thus, in 5 verses, we have a wonderful topic of Avataravada of Sanatana Dharma. In this class now, we start the 10th verse, and that is where Sri Krishna praises those people from time immemorial who applied themselves to spiritual practices, who actually walked the path shown by the Shastras, and who, by especially meditating upon the undivided truth, their meditation becomes a form of tapas. Through such jnana tapas, Sri Krishna says, they have attained me, and he praises them. Let's read the 10th shloka once more. Vitaraga bhaya krodhaha manmaya mamupashritaha bahavo jnana tapasa uta madbhavamagata. Bhavaha. So countless pious people. That is one way of assuring all of us that we don't have to try something which nobody had done before. This is a time-tested wisdom. Bhavaha jnana tapasa putaha. Pu means to purify. Puta is purified. Past passive participle. Bhavaha putaha madbhavam agataha. They have come to my nature. They have merged with me. They have found their oneness with the Supreme Divine. The special word here is jnana tapasa. In Shankara Bhāshya, we will see in a little while, Shankaracharya praises this jnana tapasa or jnana tapaha for when the understanding itself is one's support in the so-called austerity. There is no other support taken. No mantra, no tantra, no vows. It doesn't mean that they may not be living in a disciplined manner. That's not the picture. But they are not dependent on any of those. They do not invest their emotional energy in the mantra or tantra. But if those are part of their lifestyle, they may be doing them. We have a short video on the internet too of Nisargadatta Maharaj putting some, fragrant incense before pictures of gods. So even an enlightened man or lady could worship, could sing bhajans, could do japa, could go on a pilgrimage. But the difference between the enlightened and others on the path is, others on the path, whatever they do in the name of spirituality, they harbor desire to get the results. I am doing this puja, may I get such and such benefits. My pilgrimage is meant for such and such material or spiritual benefits. The enlightened one has nothing to seek from God. He may join a bunch of people over a pilgrimage. He just goes with them, enjoys the spiritual places, and personally does not ask for anything, doesn't feel the need. Therefore, this jnanam, the ultimate wisdom, is itself a tremendous sadhana. Stay there, stay in that outlook. Madbhavam agata. Another important word in this shloka is Vita Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. Raga, Bhaya and Krodha are our great inner enemies. Raga is attachment. Bhaya is fear. Krodha is anger. Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha is literally those from whom Raga, Bhaya and Krodha have left. Vita means Vigata. They have departed. They have packed up and gone. To have no attachment is a Himalayan task. Life generally revolves around our attachments. Free from attachment, free from fear, free from anger. Not easy at all. Every now and then we are afraid of something, and every now and then we have so much displeasure, we resent, we get angry with things. Therefore, even as the contemplation on this Advaita Jnana gets more and more intense, a two-way process comes into effect. On one hand, the seeker is less attached, less afraid, and less angry. On the other, that reduction in the negative energies will further support his or her abidance in the pure self. So, the departure of negative emotions and staying firmly in the higher understanding are complementary to each other. If you decide to be free of detachment, but you do not contemplate on spiritual truths, you will utterly fail in becoming unattached. Therefore, Pujya Swami Chinmayananda used to say, attach and detach. Without attaching to the higher, you can't let go of the lower. Many people decide, I will not get angry from tomorrow. From next week, I will not permit any desire to rise in my mind, and so on. Very nice to do such sankalpa. But towards that, what is the strategy you are employing? The man says, no, I'm too busy with a lot of work. I can't sit down separately. But I assure you, I won't get angry. That won't work. You have to attach yourself to the higher. Therefore, sadhanas, meditate, sing bhajan, repeat God's name, and study the scriptures. Wherever something very much appeals to you, stop, stay in that uplifting vision and does something to you. That is how your anger will slowly recede to the background. Bhavaha madbhavam agataha. Shankaracharya says, Vitaraga bhaya krodhaha. First of all, the grammar side of it is Raga, Bhaya and Krodha. All of them together are Raga, Bhaya, Krodhaha, Vitaha, Vigataha, Yebhyaha. Those people from whom, from the bosom of whom these have left attachment, fear, and anger, then they are called Vitaraga, Bhaya, Krodhaha. All of them, as you may see, is rooted in attachment mainly. If you are attached to something, you are afraid that you will lose whatever you are attached to. When you are attached to something, somebody crosses some obstacle and you get angry with that person. Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmayaha. Adi Shankara gives a full-fledged Advaita interpretation. Manmayaha Otherwise, someone else may say, so much filled with thoughts of God. But Adi Shankara says, Ishvara Abheda Darshinaha. Those who are always seeing are able to see the absence of division, absence of separateness between God and themselves. Without God, where am I? I and God are ever one. That is Abheda. Therefore, they are Brahma Vidaha. Mameva cha Parameshwaram Upashrita. In their intense appreciation of their intimate bond with God, they all the time surrender to God, take refuge in God. God is their shelter. Kevala Jnana Nishtaha Ityartha. They are abiding by the purest Jnana, not mixed with anything. And he is going to explain it also a little later. Bahavaha aneke jnana tapasa jnanena jnanameva paramatma vishayam tapaha. So not fasting, not standing on one leg, not doing some other exercises of body or breath or sometimes mind. No. Jnanam eva tapaha. Paramatma vishayam. How beautiful. One should not try to find fault with this as some kind of escapism from rituals or other exercises. This is a reward that these people have got legitimately. They have done all those dualistic sadhanas. Their attachment, fear, and anger have drastically come down. Therefore, they don't need anymore those lower sadhanas. They are constantly keeping in mind the nature of God, how God is all-inclusive. Paramatma Vishayam Tapaha Eva Jnanam. This jnana is no other than the wisdom about the Supreme Self. And then Putaha, I have already said, it means purified. Param Shuddhim Gataha Santaha. And Mad Bhavam Agataha Ishvara Bhavam Moksham. And now with the special punch, he says, what is meant by Jnana Tapasa Putaha is Itara Tapo Nirapeksha. Nirapeksha means independent. Apeksha, depending on something, requiring something. Nirapeksha, not requiring anything at all. Love is its own reward, they say. Itara tapaha nirapeksha, or nirapeksha, singular. It is an adjective to jnana nishta. Itara tapo nirapeksha jnana nishta ityasya lingam jnana tapasa iti visheshanam. Therefore, the high plateau of spiritual practices is where practice becomes a non-practice. In practice, on all those lower levels, one has to have the sense of I, the doer. When practice becomes non-practice, there is no sense of I am doing this. I hope to get the benefits very soon, etc. This I is missing. For the I, after all, was all the time illusory only. Therefore, Jnana Tapasa is a very powerful word indeed. But then someone may say, well, you give what was called Madbhava, Atma Bhava. You give only to some selected people, it seems. The blessing, the great privilege of realizing their oneness with you. That's how Sri Shankara connects the next shloka. Tavatarhi ragadveshaustaha. The Purva Pakshi says, then Lord, sorry to say this, you have certain likes and dislikes. You like a certain small number of people and you bless them with all kinds of spiritual abilities. Tava ragadveshaustaha. Staha is the dual of asti. Asti, staha, santi. Yena kebhyaschideva atmabhavam prayachasi na sarvesham. You are choosy, you are partial, you are biased, is the accusation thrown at Sri Krishna. Answering that, Arjuna says, you are highly mistaken. I am not partial to anybody. It's rather the other way around. Different people need or want different things. If all of them want me, I will give myself to every one of them. But vast majority of people do not want me. They want something from me. That is a big difference. So 11 says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tans tathaiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. Ye yatha tan tatha. There's a pair of expressions. Ye yatha means those who approach me in a certain way, whatever it is, yatha, and tan tatha eva, exactly as per the way they have approached me, I give them blessings too. Somebody asks for a mango, I don't give them a banana. Somebody asks for promotion in their career, I don't give them a bunch of free tickets to go around the world. I give to people what they have asked for. It is as though you have chosen the future of yours. Therefore, in the Western book that has become popular, The Secret, Rhonda Byrne argues that those who have successive thoughts desiring something find that everything comes to them accordingly. The power of desire, the power of intention, the power of dreaming, the power of visualizing. So in systems like NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, people practice putting such thoughts into their head continuously, repetitively, so that then they aspire for something with all force, they achieve it. Today our problem is we do not have any single aspiration. Our emotional energy is distributed to hundreds of things. So Sri Krishna says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante. If thoughts were to come together, like you have synchronization. When the mind is desiring something, the body is also cooperative. The intellect is cooperative. All of them say in one voice, we want God and God alone. Then Sri Krishna blesses them with God realization. But the case of lot of people is, they want something else. Then Sri Krishna gives them whatever they asked for. This is reflected in that expression, DDD, deep driving desire. Whatever is your deep driving desire, so will be what you will be getting, how your life gets shaped. In high school, some are bright boys, some are dull boys. typically. Now watch their life over next 20 years, next 30 years. Many a time, it is the relatively dull boys or girls who come up very well in life. And so-called bright boys or girls either don't achieve much or they are all right somewhere halfway. Why? Today they say, oh, the dull ones, though they were academically dull, had better emotional intelligence. That is also true. But in the present context, we have to say that there are many people whose academic intelligence in maths or science, English or Kannada might be less, but they have a strong aspiration. Prapadyante. A person dreams of employing hundreds of people. So, with average intelligence, this person who has an aspiration studies various possibilities and becomes successful, maybe as a businessman, maybe as an entrepreneur, and so on. The so-called bright boys, God has given them so much of academic intelligence, they read something just once, then they can, if in an examination, they can answer questions on that. But they have no particular aspiration. Some, in fact, are stuck with just sense pleasures, with just some cheap popularity. Many times we find people who are otherwise very bright are unable to figure out what they should be doing and what they should not be doing. They do too many things. They try to please too many people, and trying to please too many people, finally they don't reach anywhere, they don't end anywhere, they don't end up anywhere. And the worst part, the irony of it is, when we try to please too many people, we end up hurting too many people because we can't keep the promises made to hundreds of people. It's better to promise a few people, a few promises, and fulfill them. Then there is great satisfaction. So all these verses have a lot of significance in numerous domains. So Adi Shankara says, Yena prakarena, yena prayojanena. People having certain end in mind, prapadyante. And one word explains what Sri Krishna means by tathaiva bhajami. Tat phaladhanena. Tat phaladhanena. Phala is reward. So, someone has great academic intelligence, but his desire was to be a well-known person in his small town. So in his small town only, he is building contacts, he is getting close to people, maybe he contests some election, he becomes a successful politician of his small town. All his academic intelligence, if he had desired otherwise, would have taken him to some research, some advanced study, probably in some Western universities. He had all the intelligence, even to become maybe a professor in a well-known university in Europe or England, Europe or America. But his aspiration was weak. Once in a while he did think, let us say, all the teachers say I am bright. I must probably go for a PhD, but not enough of aspiration. So these are all inner things. Many times people themselves don't know why they are failing. They don't know that they don't have a strong enough aspiration, the deep driving desire. Their deep driving desire might be some political glamour. So in the example I said, this man ended up as a local politician. Local, not they're also not rising very high. So, tan tathaiva tat phaladanena. What phala, reward you had in mind, you are getting it. This is the secret. So Rhonda Byrne's book is titled very rightly. It's the open secret. And it's wrong to imagine we don't get what we want. Actually, as Paulo Coelho puts it, the universe conspires to give you what you have been from the bottom of your heart desiring. It is surprising that a lot of forces are at work to fulfill your desire rather than to jeopardize all your plans. Tat phaladhanena bhajami anugrahnami tesham moksham prati anarthitvat. Sri Krishna, you are known to be extremely compassionate. Give them moksha because that is the best reward. Shankaracharya writes, no, God will not give moksha to somebody whose desire was to be on the stages in local political meetings. Anarthitvat, there is a word. Mokshasya saha arthi na asit. Arthi is prarthi, one who aspires. We may say to God, please give him moksha. But God says, I know what is happening in his heart. In his heart, moksha is the last thing that he wants. Somebody may be in an ashram, somebody may be even a Swamiji, somebody may be on some high level of the ashram. But don't be too sure. God knows what is in the heart of all. In the heart of a person, while outwardly he may be a musician or an artist or a Swamiji or a politician, outwardly he may be anything. But deep inside his heart, this is the open secret. If he is actually seeking power, pleasure, and so on, that is what will come to him, not moksha. Tat prati moksham prati anarthitvat. But another doubt comes. We don't want to be against the world. I want pleasures of the world also and liberation also. Acharya Shankara says that's not possible. Nahi ekasya, a single person, mumukshutvam phalartitvancha yugapat sambhavati. Yugapat means together, at one go. What is it you want? If someone were to ask a person, that person says, really, I have ordinary cars. I want expensive cars with me. I have a 2-bedroom flat. I want a 3-bedroom independent bungalow, preferably in the posh areas of some metropolitan city. He is saying all that, but he says, by the way, I want moksha also. That's not possible. If you are after better cars and better house and better bank balance and some glitter and glamour of being on the stage with the senior politicians, if that is what is driving you, then mumukshutvam na sambhavati. Yugapat, together. That's what Jesus Christ, I believe, said. You cannot worship God and mammon together. Mammon stands for wealth. You can't pursue wealth as well as God. So all religions say in one voice, if you truly want God's ultimate grace, you need to be seeking it single-pointedly. Ekasya mumukshutvam phalartitvancha yugapat na sambhavati. Ataha ye phalarthinaha tan phalapradanena. And they get phala. That's what they wanted, particular rewards. But yathokta karinastu. The Shastras have all the time been saying, anything in the world is impermanent. Seek God. So Yathoktakaris are those who seek God single-pointedly. Yathoktakarinah, literally it means those who do what is said to them. The Shastras have said to all of us, but we forget. 99 out of 100 among us forget what Shastras asked us to do and chase some personal petty desire of our own. Alas. Afalartinaha, those 1 out of 100 don't care for the passing pleasures of the world. They are mumukshavaha, they are seekers of liberation and liberation only. To them, Jnana Pradani. I give, says Sri Krishna, I gave Jnana. But then some have already a good amount of Shastra Jnana, Viveka Vairagya, they are good sannyasis. To them I give moksha. So even among people who aspire for liberation, there are two levels. Those who are less prepared, they are first to be given Shastra Jnana. Those who are more prepared, they have to be given moksha itself. For the second category is able to receive it. No point in giving anybody something which that person is neither able to receive nor able to maintain, use, and so on. If somebody comes and gives you an expensive, that is some elephant which is valued highly, you can't keep an elephant with you. You say already our house has shortage of space. Don't give me. Don't say this elephant in the market will sell for 1.5 crore rupees. Please give me half as much of the money, but don't leave the elephant in our house. Won't you say? Very much like that. Ability. So among those who aspire for moksha also, some are less able, they should get more knowledge. And others have already clear knowledge, they are given moksha itself. Yes, you read Acharya Shankara's commentary, some of you may already be thinking, this has a close resemblance to what we have studied elsewhere in 7th chapter. There are 4 kinds of devotees. Chaturvidha bhajante mam, jana sukriti norjuna, arto jidna surartharthi, jnani cha bharatarsham. So, Sri Shankaracharya says, arthas, those who are going through some affliction, some suffering, and they want just to be free of suffering. Financial difficulties, health problems, or somebody in the family met with a very grave accident, and these relatives are going up and down to the hospital, taking care of that relative. Then they say, oh, when will this end? All that we want is this travail should end. Arthan artiharanena. Therefore, in all religious traditions, countless are the examples of certain devotees getting their troubles removed. God comes and removes their trouble. That elephant in Gajendra Moksha Prakarana had his foot caught by a crocodile. All that the elephant wants is to be freed from the clutches of the crocodile. And Bhagavan Vishnu comes and kills the crocodile so that the devotee elephant is freed from getting eaten up. Arthan artiharanena iti evam yata prapadyante tan tataiva bhajami ityartha. Na punaha ragadvesha nimittam moha nimittam va kanchit bhajami. Don't judge me, says Sri Krishna. Don't judge me hastily that to somebody I gave moksha, to somebody I just gave a kingdom. Dhruva, who was otherwise such a wonderful devotee of Lord Vishnu, had a deep driving desire that he should be the king. And he was made a king. Much later, he was sent to some higher spiritual regions. But the first blessing that he received is, you be the king of the country, ruled so far by Uttana Pada. So as we seek, so we shall get. So better we examine all our desires, and if some of the desires are of no use, throw them. Periodically, don't we all delete files and folders from our laptops, from our mobiles? Likewise, what is of much more importance is we take away silly desires, silly attachments, and so on. Tataiva bhajami. So Sri Krishna says, I have no partiality towards anybody, but I can see what they actually want in their heart, and I give them that. Sarvata api sarva avastasya mama ishvarasya vartma margam anuvartante manushyaha. So, it is, no matter who it is, all of them are coming towards me, but depending on the magnitude of their vision, some have a great vision, some have a narrow vision. All of them are coming to me. Those with a narrow vision get little things, and those with great vision get moksha. Therefore, the simple example is given. 10 people may go to a river full of drinking water, but some have carried small pot, some have carried big pots. So, as per the size of the pot that they are carrying, they are able to fill. Therefore, finally, Shankaracharya writes, Sarvata api sarvavastasya mama ishvarasya vartma margam anuvartante. All have gone to the river. All are going to the river. There is no other place where they go. But their inner fitness varies. Manushyaha sarva prakaraihi anuvartante. That is the 11th verse. And in 12th, there is more focus on karma, that is action, and what it can do. Adi Shankara connects, Tava Ishwarasya Ragadvesha Bhavat Sarva Pranishu Anujigakshayam Tulyayam Sarva Fara Pradana Samarthe Chatvai Sati Vasudeva Sarvamiti Jnanena Eva Mukshava Santaha Kasmat Tvameva Sarve Na Pratipatyante. The Pura Pakshi, the imagined opponent, says, but why do people not desire you and you only? For they have studied, they have heard. It's not that they do not know. How come large majority of the people on the earth, how come they do not serve God, worship God, think of God, pray God, etc.? Example, the reason is given. See, elsewhere you may say vasanas, pressure of vasanas. Pressure of blood is blood pressure, BP. But pressure of vasanas is VP. And elsewhere we say, yeah, they might have studied scriptures, they might have given lectures also, but they are under the pressure of certain vasanas. Sri Krishna puts it slightly differently, at least in this shloka. He says it is because people are able to see how karma gives its results pretty quickly. Therefore, they get attached to karma and they do lip service to jnana. The liberating wisdom is put aside, saying, I'll come back, I'll get to it later. That is a blunder all are performing. So 12 says, Kankshanta karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devataha kshipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. The reference is to karmaja siddhi. Karma is action. Even though action tires us down. Even though there is much anxiety and panic about whether our action will be successful, even though action entails so many other problems, no matter what, we are attached to action because we have seen a few examples where action gave quick results. Siddhihi kshipram bhavati. Kshipra means quickly. Therefore, people want to take shortcuts. People want to get rich very quickly, right? But so leave alone those adharmic methods. Even those who are attached to dharma are so sure that if I do this ritual, if I do this some loka seva, such and such benefits come. That clarity they don't have with regard to the supreme wisdom. Therefore, the shloka went, Kankshanta karmanam siddhim yajantaiha devataha kshipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Karmanam siddhim kankshanta. Kankshanta means abhipsantaha. Both mean seeking, desiring. Phala nishpattim prarthayantaha. I want quick results. Show me something where I can't wait. In 2 days, I want to see the results. So whether it's 2 days or 2 years or 20 years, everything is relatively pretty quick. So a whole lot of our mental energy goes into all sorts of worldly enterprises, worldly efforts, because we visualize the results very vividly. We don't visualize the happiness of being free of ego with as much clarity as we visualize materialistic gains. Shankaracharya writes, in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a famous mantra, Ata yaha anyam devatam upaste anyasau anyaha hamasmiti nasaveda Pashureva Sadevanam. Pashurevam or Pashureva Devanam. That's a very figurative way of putting it. All those of us who are attached to karma will become Pashu. Pashu means some animals like cows, which the owner then uses for many purposes. So we are used by devatas. Brihadaranyaka, 1st chapter, 4th Brahmana, 10th mantra. Further, Tesham hi vinna devata yajinam falakangshinam kshipram shigram hi asmat munashvanushe loke. Sentence is not complete, but still Adi Shankara explains one point. Those who are with their eyes upon particular results, if they have done other things quite well, they will be blessed with the desired result very soon. So what is the result and karma we are keeping in mind here? Shastra Vichara. The traditional commentary by Shankaracharya, without mincing words, says it refers to performance of so many Vedic rituals, Agnihotra and so on. And Manushas, human beings, are especially warned, they are exhorted to stay on the path of karma. You know why? Manushya lokehi shastradhikaraha. The privilege of being able to study the Vedas is to human beings. There also, as Shankaracharya writes, varnashrama karmani. So in the old traditional language, Brahmins, Vaishyas and Kshatriyas, they could study Vedas, not Shudras. Today's liberal view, as practiced by very many spiritual organizations in India and abroad, the interpretation is not so much by whether someone is Brahmin son, somebody is a daughter of a Brahmin, or Vaishya, of Kshatriya. But no matter what your birth is, if you have certain qualities, then you are in a league of your own. To that league of people with right attributes, right qualifications, Shastra is available. And in this Shastra, it is clearly said, we are teaching you some rituals, but eventually you need to go beyond them. Varnashrama karmani. Teshanta varnashrama adhikarinam karminam phalasiddhihi kshipram bhavati. So those who visualize, so many people right in elementary school, they dream of going abroad and they work towards it. Then they end up in Singapore or in Gulf country or in Europe or in America. Only after some more time they realize, in some sense there are some benefits here, but on the whole, the real challenge of life is not about settling in an affluent, prosperous country. Wherever you are, you need to work on yourself towards being free of ragadvesha. Teshancha varnashramadi adhikarinam karmanam and karminam phalasiddhi kshipram bhavati. So very visible, very concrete, and examples are just around us. Like in the example I gave of somebody, either he himself wants to go abroad or his parents have been hoping, our son will do well in everything and settle, how nice it would be, and so on. They are dreaming. So whichever way it is, the point Adi Shankara makes is, karma is fast yielding, results come very quickly. Therefore, people stay with karma, they don't go for dana. Incidentally, an institution, IIT Madras has on its logo, Shipram Siddhir Bhavati Karmaja, from this shloka, from this 12th shloka of the 3rd chapter, and very appropriate, because IITs are not meant for liberation. IITs are meant to give technical knowledge of technology, and the girls and boys who study in the IITs, getting that knowledge of technology, get into various jobs, professions, and then they blossom there. Many of them do well materially, or they may get other recognition. Somebody in Pune, yesterday's news, somebody in Pune, an IT professional running a company in Pune, Maharashtra, found hundreds of possible security issues with the Android software. And he went on reporting to Google that your Android software is used by millions and millions of mobiles and other gadgets, but it has this risk. It has this risk, this security, that security issue. And they highly appreciate it. I think to some extent he even suggested to them how to solve that problem well in advance, before people start complaining. And over last 2 or 3 years, he has supplied some Pandey, Aman Pandey, I think. He supplied so much of technical inputs, they are overawed, and they gave certain rewards, monetary rewards. If I remember right, some 8.7 crores of rupees they gave him as a gift, because he pointed out to them. And they have fixed the bugs before systems come crashing or hackers and others misuse them. So that is what IIT stands for. Siddhir Bhavati Karmaja. So Aman Pandey in Pune did karma, not Vaidika karma. In olden days it was Vaidika karma, and they would get results. Today it is karma in technology, in various other areas. And then Shipram. Within 3-4 years, he did a lot of karma, and Siddhi came in a single check, 8.5 crores of Indian rupees. So, having said it, let me conclude by remarking, while the truth is irrefutable, karma gives results, the present context in the Gita, in this 3rd chapter, 13th shloka, is not about glory of karma. It is the limitation of karma. IIT Madras might have used that logo, that saying, glorifying karma. Come, learn our technology, do some adorable work and get rewarded, get recognized in the world, live well, increase your own prosperity, prosperity of the country or locality where you live, All that is true. But the context in the Gita where the shloka appears, it is these karmas which give results pretty quickly. Also, they perish quickly. Very soon, either the wealth disappears or wealth may be due. You do not value the wealth anymore as you did before. So, what is it which we will always value? What is it which will be always dear to us, which will always be a source of solace and peace to us? That is jnana only. Therefore, the context here is praise of jnana and a little bit of putting down of karma. But in some other context, because relatively karma is far superior to akarma. Somebody doesn't get any knowledge, doesn't collect or gather any skills, and jobless or directionless or without proper focus is living and suffering in various ways. And such people are in very large number. So compared with them, those who get some skills, get some technology, do karma and get results, position themselves on higher levels in the society, they are indeed to be appreciated. So it's all relative. It's like somebody asks, in your opinion, is the number 54 a very big number? You say, 54 is a big number compared with 2 or 7, 8 or 15. But 54 is not a big number compared with 1000, compared with 2000. Therefore, karma is glorious compared with akarma, laziness. Karma is not glorious compared with jnana, which can give lasting peace or liberation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.